Recently, Power to Light and Motor Tubes Online were lucky enough to become the U.S. sole distributors of the Merlin firing systems. Today's video is going to be just to show you exactly what these systems are and how they're used. To start off, the basic systems we're going to be carrying until probably early summer are the MerlinMatch systems. Now you have three different options with the MerlinMatch systems. You have the standard MerlinMatch, and then you've got the MerlinMatch with an RS-485 port. Now when you look at these, they look almost identical. I'm going to show you one little difference between the two systems, and that is this little yellow LED here is the standard MerlinMatch, and this one right here is the advanced MerlinMatch with an RS-485 communication port built in. The difference between the two is basically how you use the system and how it communicates with the computer. This system right here is very easy to use in other MerlinMatch products, other Merlin system products. This one right here is more or less just a typical sequencer that you would hook up a secondary firing system to and then initiate the program. Now for both of these, you have 9 manufactured programs built in. You've got programs 1 through 9, and basically it's a half-second step. It's a goes all the way down to 6-second steps in between cues. For program 10, 11, and 12, these are your programs, what you've decided to build in for your needs. Both the MerlinMatch RS-485 and the standard MerlinMatch have these 3 programs built in. Now those are the 2 typical options. Now let's say you're a handyman or a woman and you can go ahead and do your own thing. Well, this is called the MMSE, or MerlinMatch SE, and this is basically how it comes. It comes with the board and the LEDs, the cables, and such. So you can go ahead and put this system inside of a case of your choosing. Okay, MerlinMatch SE, the SE stands for Special Edition if you were curious. What we're going to do now is we're going to show you exactly how to set these things up and what they'll do. And we'll do the MerlinMatch to start. Okay, this is the MerlinMatch standard that we carry. Now, just to run through, the system is made up of a 32Q system. The first 2 ports and the last 2 ports on every side are the common grounds. The ones in the middle are Qs 1 through 16 and then 17 through 32. So when you wire this, you're going to end up basically wiring multiple grounds per Q. Okay? That's why probably using professional grade E-matches is probably going to be the method that you'll employ on this. On the side here is the power input. This hole right here is used to hook it up to a computer and to program it, and these right here are just buttons that you're going to go ahead and select what program you want to fire. We'll go ahead and hook it up to a power source and you'll see how exactly you're going to do this. It comes with a little power cable here. You're just going to hook it up to a 12 volt battery, 24 volt battery, depending on your needs. And you're going to hook it in. Okay. When you power it up, it kind of goes through a little self-test. When it's finished, we're going to go ahead and select the program. Right now it's on a user-defined program, but let's set it for program 1. So all I'm going to do is hit this button here and it's going to slide through. Okay, right now we're on 1, and if I were to hit this button right here, you're going to lock it in. Okay. Once you lock it in, it does its little self-test. Now what we're going to do is you have to hook it up to a triggering firing system. So that firing system can be any firing system that has a voltage between 12 and 30 volts. So what we're going to do is we're going to use just this cheapy firing system here that we carry for people that are just starting out in electronic firing. And this system just uses shooting wire to initiate the sequence. Polarity, although typically polarity is pretty important on electrical firing, when you're using it as a trigger impulse, it is not important. So it doesn't matter if black goes to red or red goes to black for the trigger part of this program. So all we're going to do is we're going to hook these up to this. And normally, I mean, I just do it just out of common sense. I do normally go black to black, red to red. But just to prove to you that you don't have to, I'll go black to red and red to black. Now this setup has a little self-test. I'm not going to show you exactly how to fire the cheap one because that's not what we're doing here today. But I just powered it up, and like you saw, I hooked it in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this system. It's going to send a trigger impulse to the impulse triggers, and right now you see it flashing on red. That's a standby mode. That means I can test the system as much as I want, and it's not going to actually fire any cues. It's just going to show you what's going to happen. So here we go. And you can see it's going through, and that is set at program 1, which is a half a second between cues. But it's not actually firing any volts. Okay, so you've seen how it fired program 1. And you can go ahead, you can go all the way through. We'll try to zoom in here so you can actually see. You can see all the different programs here. You got a half second, 1, 1.5, all the way up to 6 seconds. And then of course down here you got the 10, 11, and 12 programs. 10, 11, and 12 typically hasn't been programmed yet. So what we're going to do is, to show you how to hook this up to your computer, we're going to program it with program 10. And I'll show you how to do that. Now in order to communicate the system with your computer, you're going to need some kind of interface to talk between the two. Now most computers now have USB ports, and most computers nowadays do not have the typical 9-pin serial cables. This system, because it was made to not only work with Windows, it's also made to, you work with MacBooks and such. It's been designed with a 9-pin serial cable. So for most of us, what we're going to end up doing is you're going to use the little adjuster cable here, adapter, and you're going to turn this into a USB port. All you can do is snap together like that. Now here's the kicker. When you do stuff like this, you use USB, especially in a Windows environment, it really relies on drivers. So you're going to have to remember, when you install the software, you have to make sure that you install the drivers that are going to communicate now, so it knows how to communicate with the device. Additionally, you're going to have to remember and set the ports correctly. So depending on how your computer functions, you're just going to go in and remember what port you've connected it to, and then when it asks you to set up, you're just going to select that port. But let's go ahead and hook this thing up. So you're going to take your computer, you're going to power it up, and what we're going to do is we're going to hook up the MerlinMatch with a program that I really like called the Ion Suite. And the Ion Suite is just a really user-friendly program made specifically for this system. So if you notice what I just did, I just plugged in this little USB serial adapter thing into the computer. Then you're going to come over here and you're going to snap that into the communication port. This right here is your battery. I'm going to just plug the power in, so now we have juice flowing to this thing. Okay. Now you don't even have to worry about this right now. What we're going to do is worry about what's on the screen. Hopefully without So you're going to find wherever you stored the program. This currently is going to be used for Ion Standalone. That's the firing program used for MerlinMatch. And all you're going to do is you're going to select it, You're going to go to the program that you created, and this just happens to be it right here. Then you're going to go to Upload to Device, click on it again, then you're going to select whatever program you'd like, and for instance we're going to go with this one right here. It's Sequence 1, and then you go to Program 1, and this is the sequence, and then we're going to hit Upload. It's real simple. Now we're going to go to this system. Before I hit anything, we're going to make sure that it's set for the 10th, 11th, or 12th program. So to do that, you're just going to make the LED go down to, say, 10. Going to lock it in. Okay. Then you're going to hit Upload, which is at the bottom here. Now this is where you're going to have to remember the serial port, and the serial port happens to be COM port 4. I know that by going to my hardware, and I know exactly what COM port we're talking. So I'm just going to click COM port 4, hit Connect, and it just read the information. It knows now that the device hooked up to it, this is its serial number, this is my license name, this is the company name, and it expires in 1 month because this is just a test software. And I'm going to upload. And you can see right here the little bar, it's going, and what it's doing, it's sending all that electronic data into this device. And it's going to go all the way through until it's all set. And once it's finished, this information now is going to be all in this little box here. And you can see it just accepted the program and it's flashing. So now program 10 is set, it's defined. And just so you know exactly what you define, you can go back into the typical system and you can preview it. This is the preview screen, and all it is a set of little circles that are going to emulate what the cues are going to be. And you're just going to hit Fireline, and Fireline would be the wires hooking into this. That's what they call Fireline. It's just a trigger impulse. Okay, so when you hit Fireline, you're going to see it snap through, and it's going to go faster and faster and faster. I know you can't see it very well. I wonder if I can zoom in on this and get a little bit better of an image. I'll do it one more time. So we're going to reset and Fireline. I know you can't see it very well, but you have to take my word for it. It just starts slow, and I programmed it to go faster and faster and faster. A very simple program. So we're good to go. Now basically you're done with the computer. You can go ahead, you can program the 11th program and the 12th program also, but we don't need to do that right now. I just wanted to show you how this thing interfaces with your computer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try that software. So I'm going to turn off the computer because we don't need it anymore. We're going to go back to our little setup. I don't need the communication port, so I'm going to take that out. I'm going to zoom back out so we see everything. Okay. Right now we are on the 10th. I'm going to hit OK. Okay. It goes through. Now that right there, it's flashing. Typically, when you're doing this, you're going to have your e-matches hooked up. When you first turn it on, it's going to do a cue test to make sure that you have continuity on all your cues. That's what that is. And of course, we have nothing on it, so it was lighting up like that to tell you that you have a problem. But we don't have anything hooked up, so that's why it's going to show bad. Now that we unhooked this from the computer, because we no longer need the computer to fire off the firing program, I went ahead and I hooked up the secondary firing system to the input triggers here, which are going to be your initiation to fire the sequence. And you can see right here we're on program 10. That's the new program we just set in. The green light's indicating what program you're talking about. We're going to confirm this thing in by hitting the right button. It goes through. Now it's going to be checking continuity. Okay, nothing's hooked in, so it's showing you we have a problem. Okay, now it is in standby mode. Standby mode means you can fire this thing, but no power is going to go through, but the LEDs will light, so you can kind of preview it before you shoot it. And here it goes. It's going through. It's going to start slow, just like on the computer, and it's going to pick up speed as it goes through. And you fire it off. Now it's actually sending volts through. Now I'm going to just hook up a couple E-matches so you can kind of see what I was talking about. We're going to figure out what program we want. We'll go ahead and we'll do the one that we just programmed, which is 10. We're going to lock it in. Okay. Does the continuity test again, and the ones that are flashing are not good. And we don't have to do a preview because I've done that countless times. We're going to lock it in. Green light comes on. When I hit fire, it's going to initiate the cue. Now, the firing system that's used to fire this thing on the trigger is on. My remote is on. We're going to fire 3, 2, 1, firing. And there you have it. Of course, if there were rematches in all of them, it would have been much more dramatic. I just didn't want to waste that kind of money. So there you have it. It's a pretty versatile system, and it's one of many to come. Thanks.